All right, so it's gonna look a little different since I'm on a QX7, but I'm gonna go on menu, tap over once. We're gonna set the timer to throttle percent, and whatever time you want. A lot of this is gonna be just like StingerSwarm, so bear with me. I named it run just so I have something in there. I'm gonna set it to read out for 1 minute and to read out voice, which will give me a 30-second warning and count down from 10 to 1. So then I'm going to run over to logical switches. If you go a page too far, hold the page button and you'll go back one. So I'm gonna run down to my first open one, or whichever one you want to use. In my case, I'm gonna use L22 and 23. So we're gonna set up 22 first, and we're gonna set this to an edge function. Now what edge does is basically trips when the switch is released. So real quick, we set it to SC. So if you watch, right now SC is not activated. Activate it, nothing happens. Now if I flip release SC, you'll see it flash for just a second there. Oh man, I'm shaky, my bad. So we're gonna set that to L23, which will be our next one. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a second delay. That way, in case like I crash, disarm, and lose telemetry for a second, it doesn't immediately reset the timer. And we're gonna set and switch to whatever your arm switch is. So if you're using a switch, just flip it, put it in disarm, and you're good to go. In my case, I'm using a logical switch, so I'm gonna set it to LO3, which is arm, long press to invert, which will be disarm. So basically it means not LO3. And that one is all good. So we're gonna back over to L23 and set it up to A is greater than X. So we're gonna put this on our RSSI. So basically this will activate whenever RSSI is over 0 is what we're going for. Make sure you use the one with no symbol here, which is your active readout. This will be your lowest RSSI. This will be the highest. We want the active, like current RSSI. And that one's good. So now basically what's going to happen whenever you plug it in and you're disarmed, RSSI is going to read out and activate L23. Now if you're armed and you lose telemetry or whatever, nothing's going to happen because this switch is deactivated by being armed. As soon as you disarm and unplug your battery, or if you lose telemetry for longer than 1 second, this L22 will activate, send a pulse real quick, and that's how we're going to reset our timer. So now we're going to page over to special functions. I'm going to go down to my next open one, which will be down here. And I'm going to long press and go to logical switches, and in my case, I'm going to set it to L22, whatever the first switch was that you set up. We're going to run this over to reset, and should automatically go to timer 1, and make sure you check off this box to activate that whole line, otherwise it won't function. We're going to exit out, and we're going to long press that line, copy the whole line, paste it down here, and change it to telemetry. That way it'll reset our telemetry as well. Again, make sure that's still checked, and we're good to go. Now I'm going to go one step further, paste the line one more time, and we're going to change this to play track, and I'm going to set it to my timer reset warning. And so now whenever you have it disarmed and unplug the battery, timer 1 reset, telemetry reset, and you'll get a timer reset warning so that you know that timer's been reset. And that should be everything. And if you want to add anything else, you can always go down, paste a new line with that L22, and set it to any one of these. You can have it play a value, you can have it run a Lewis script, play music, whatever you want it to do. You can go to haptic and have it give you a little buzz in your hand if you want. And if you don't want it, just long press and clear. And that should be it. If you have any other questions, just give me a holler. Fly safe.